Well, the first day we went up, we said, "My God, Stephen will be so happy when he finds out we've been up."
Yeah, I am.
Seen it.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Cool, cool. Right, okay, so I'm going live now.
Everybody should go and mute them.
Yeah, we're going.
You're fine.
We
John?
all can't wait to start.
Okay, I think we're going live.
Okay, I better take over slightly, or just for a couple of seconds. I think we've lost our MC to the ether, but I'm sure he'll be back in just a second. We've just gone live on our Vimeo live stream. Should be on Facebook and YouTube as well. Welcome everyone. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks very much for coming along today. And our MC for this evening is Stanley Knott, and he is just about to connect and or to reconnect, I should say. We lost him there momentarily, and Stan will take over from me the second he's available. Are you there, Stan?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Paul. It just literally just dropped. I have no idea what happened.
No problem.
Bad timing. Dropped a few minutes early, would have been fine. Anyway, sorry about that, and thanks for getting me back in so quickly. So I just want to start by welcoming everybody to what is the 654th edition of the OVEL. I think it's our 13th virtual event since this C19, as I'm calling it nowadays, appeared in the world. We're delighted to have you all here, and I'm really looking forward to our two guest poets tonight, who are Geraldine O'Kane and Colin Dardis, two people that we were chatting about earlier on, saying, I feel like I know them. I've never actually met them, but we've been connected online for so long. It was actually amazing for me to realize that I actually never have met them, but I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing you two guys tonight. And thanks a million for being here. We really appreciate it. Just a very quick overview of the night, just in case there's anybody here who's here for the first time. The evening is broken into three distinct sections. The first section is the 5-word challenge, which we'll move to in a second, which is a little competition that we have a couple of prizes for at the end as well. The second section is the featured guests, as I said, are Geraldine O'Kane and Colin Dardis tonight. Just before that, there'll be a few announcements, and after those two guests have read, we will then have an open mic. Both the open mic and the 5-word challenge have a maximum number of participants in around 30 or 35, just in case we go beyond that, we might have to disappoint people. Hopefully that won't happen, but just so that you're aware of it in the case. Now, with online events, we use the open chat window for general comments. So there's a facility there for you to speak to everybody. If you want to have a conversation with somebody that isn't, kind of general conversation, you can do that through the drop-down menu and message away in between. We like to generate a safe space here, so we would ask people to, be conscious of what they're saying, especially into the main group. From a point of view of audio and background noise, Paul, who's working away in the background there, will be managing the muting and unmuting, but if need be, we might ask attendees to regulate their own audio and background noise to ensure it's not too intrusive. Again, that's unlikely to happen, but just in case, that we have forewarned you, and we don't want you to feel offended or insulted in any way in case that we have to ask somebody just to do that. But like I said, that's unlikely. So the first part of the night, as I said, is the 5-word challenge. This is an OVEL tradition. The 5
I think we lost Stan there again. Stan, we lost you there.
Again?
Yeah, I think after it's an OVEL tradition, you kind of froze.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that. Okay, am I back?
You're back.
Okay, so the 5-word challenge is an OVEL tradition. It's how we start every night. And what will happen is in a second, I will be asking you to give me random words, 5 of them, 1 word per person. The first 5 words that come into the chat box will be the words that we will go with. Once we have 5 words, I'll read them back to you, and then we will give you about 15 minutes to write a piece that contains those 5 words. And then after the 15 minutes, I will invite people to share their 5-word poem if they'd like to. And at the end of that process, in the old world we lived in, we used to do rounds of applause and encourage people to hoop and holler to decide the winner, because the audience does decide the winner. But in this format, we'll be asking you, when everybody has finished reading their 5-word contributions, that you would vote in the chat box for the person that you think is the winner by simply typing in winner and the name of that person that you think is the winner. And that's how that will happen. Paul will count the votes, not me. So if there's an announcement of a winner that you feel somehow isn't the correct answer, then I will be referring you to Paul. I will give you contact details for him in that event, and I'm sure he'd be quite happy to send you on a complaint for, if need be. Obviously, that's not going to happen either. I just have a silly sense of humour from time to time. So we're going to move to the 5-word challenge, and we look for 5 words. Oh my God, we already have 2. Jesus, people are really in a hurry to get going tonight.
Right. Yes.
So we have movement and slip. Geraldine and Colin, look how quickly you guys got involved. And they've given us the word cave, as in Nick Cave, C-A-V. So we have 3 at the moment. We're looking for another 2. If you have an idea for a word. How amazing is that, Colin? Oh, no. Okay, so Stephen Knox has offered a word which some of us would call scone. Those of us in the audience, Rab from Scotland, would say it's pronounced differently, as in scone, but we're going to go whatever way you want to pronounce it is fine with us. I pronounce it scone, but then I'm a Sassenach, Rab, aren't I? And the 5th word is lilac. So just call those words back to you again if you have your pen handy.
Well, and we got lilac and scone.
So the 5 words are movement, slip, cave, scone or scone, and lilac. Those are your 5 words. We'll give you 15 minutes from now. I will give you a 2-minute warning in 13 minutes time. And the very best luck. Enjoy creating. I look forward to hearing what it is you will create over the next 15 minutes.
Mhm.
2 minutes remaining, guys. 2 minutes remaining. Okay, that's the 15 minutes up. Hope there's plenty of you have stuff ready. I know there's, as always, there's probably one or two working away. We have a message from Rab to say I'm going to put mine here, which is in the chat. So before I ask for anybody else there, just Rab, have you got somebody who you want to read that specifically, or is it just that is there someone whose voice you want to hear reciting that piece? While Rab is deciding on that, if you have a 5-word piece that you'd like to read, could you just type your name and 5 words into the chat box, and we'll get going from there. So, Doc Janning, I think you're in Ohio, Doc. Here. Yeah, I love the background as well. So
Thank you.
He's the first one in. So, if you want to tear away there, we'll kick off. And thank you very much for volunteering to go first. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Moments of movement, each a syzygy of past, present, and future, slip through lilac-scented caves of time. As scones slip from the oven, a syzygy of their ingredients, redolent with the scent of fresh, ready for butter and jam.
Excellent start, Doc. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Nice to see some applause going on in the background. I haven't got a reply from Rab yet, so we'll move on. Next up is Colin Scully.
Hi, can you hear me, Stan?
Perfectly, Colin. Perfectly.
Apologies to begin with. It's another COVID poem.
Mute him.
At the bean and leaf.
At the bean and leaf. Come on.
A scone with jam, a table by the window, with a lilac in a vase, catching the sun. Movement of people to and fro around me, slipping between chairs to greet their friends. Hardly a lot to ask, but not this springtime. Stalled in our caves, we're banishing the light. maybe in summer when all this is a memory. Then we can meet for coffee once again.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you very much. At the Bean and Leaf. Huh? Happy days. Next up after Colin is Stephen Knox.
Thanks very much. Probably one of the most stressful things I've had to do for a long time, but anyway. She came close with her movement languid, without a slip or sound. She slid down into the cafe chair, its cave walls wet, her lilac dress drenched by the day's rain, a lone latte consumed and a buttered scone. Before I noticed, she was gone.
Thank you, Stephen. And there's the first scone rather than scone appearing in the ether tonight. We know what you meant. Thanks a million, Stephen. Ada is next.
Yeah, thanks. Mine is a little fairy tale for everyone, maybe also a bit covered. They went into the woods and down a cave all made of scone. The movement repeated each gown, a slip and never done. Handel and Gretel mummified, will save the rest for years, as flesh that's never putrefied, a tale that spent its tears. They laugh and tell us all hello from well beyond the vale, where lilac blooms and in the glow the dead walk happy pale.
Thank you, Ada. Thanks a million. Lovely little fairy tale. Thank you so much. Massimo is next.
Hey, everybody. Always glad to be here.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Massimo.
Massimo. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. One of the most beautiful sounds that I've heard in my life was the voice of Jeff Buckley as he sang, "Lilac wine is sweet and heady like my love." A beautiful song to slip into, to allow the walls of my mind to soften without caving in. Music is a beautiful way to find the stillness of repose without denying our desire to pulsate as beings of movement. So instead of wine and a pill in the evening, or coffee and a scone in the morning, I'll take music any time of day or night as my favorite way to find eternal rest in a finite moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Those in the audience who know me will know that I'm always thrilled to hear musical references in poetry. It's what it should be all about. Now, Paul Talent is next.
All right.
Hey Paul, how you doing? Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, not bad. It's good to be here. Stuck in Liverpool at the moment, so this poem's about Liverpool. Why not, eh? So Liverpool is a city of story, Beatles, Scylla and football glory. Gerrard slip and Scally's movement, two cathedrals in a parallel moment. Characters come out their cave, taking Gary's in a creamy rave. Purple Aki, a lilac offender. Sconhead has gone on a one-way bender. Funny accents, expensive trainees, rolled up hair and designer babies. Go down the shop or ring a bell. Liverpool always has a story to tell.
Thank you, Paul. I spent a very pleasant week in Liverpool a couple of years ago with a man from Coventry, and we had a great time. Brilliant to catch up with all the Beatles stuff. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking me back. Michelle is next.
Hi. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Michelle, lovely to see you.
You too, Stan. I'm navy, green, blue and ochre. I miss movement, miss sidewalk dance from home to Toker. Up all hours, then down for twice more. I'm lilac and lace stitching and silk. Miss slip from store to store. Tipping long hats to waiting traffic with the radios on. Slicing scones just to watch the steam smoke like curl and sing. I'm aquamarine, metallic glint on fabrics of fins. Only when the good sun finds a way to bend into caves. I'm the black and crimson shells that rises to the top of lava spilling. Miss break and flow. Miss live and breathe all the colours of the world. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Michelle. I mean this as a compliment. I actually drifted away while you were reading. That soft voice of yours. Thanks, Michelle. Gaynor Kane is next.
Thank you. This is untitled. Ebb and flow movement slapped the slip as he lowered the rib into the water, painted lilac by a red velvet sky, dotted with cheese scone clouds. He loaded up the picnic and set off for the cave to the curlew's call. Thank you. Short and sweet.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much indeed. This veering backwards and forwards between scone and scone is actually affecting my equilibrium, believe it or not. I get a bit of a jar every time I hear the word scone. That's my stuff, not yours. Next up is Mary O'Connell. Have we got Mary, Paul? No?
That
I'll
was
come
my
back.
mistake, Stan. I mixed it up with the open mic. My
Okay,
apologies.
all right, fair enough. Okay. So Pam Campbell is next.
Okay, and I am using the Scottish scone as a verb. Means to hit. Grandmothers and grandfathers, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, slip into the capital, the house of the people, all people, not just some. No holy movement, gone vitriol, birth and hate's cave. 5 dead. No lilac scent can cleanse those complicit by action and non-action.
Thank you, Pam. Okay, so while we're in the world of explaining scone and scone, Rab has replied to the message about his piece, which I'll have to go and find now, Rab. Paul, can you pop that through to me again? Because I don't really know how to back up on this thing, to be honest. Anyway, Rab has said that he wants me to read his poem. Well, he hasn't said he wants me to read it. He's just said, you read it, Stan. And then typical Rab, they could, you know, everything but Rab comes with instructions. But scone is pronounced scoon in this instance. So there you go, okay? So this is Rab's poem. The Bruce watched as a spider slipped down. He watched as it climbed back up, then scuttled down the rock face before launching itself into space, swinging, trying to reach the wall on the other side of the cave. He watched as it repeated its efforts over and over until finally it succeeded. Leaving the cave, he plucked a blue lilac for luck and headed for Scone. Scotland was his. So that's Rab's poem. We have a few left. We did, let me just, I forgot to put a tick in. I just want to, yeah, we did. We had Pan Campbell. So Marie Stevens is next.
Hi, it's Moira, not Marie.
And Moira, my apologies. My apologies.
What's the fastest cake, he asked. A scone, and laughed. Get it, scone, it's gone so fast. I nodded, smiled and carried on, waiting, thinking, not really attending. Holding my hand, we waited, his movements restrained. Then, as I admire nearby lilac tree, his hand slips free from mine. So fast he's gone, so fast, not fast enough, not faster than the approaching bus. So now I wait alone, my cave of grief, lilac scented with memory and sorrow.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you very much indeed. And next it'll be the 12th 5-word challenge entrance, and at the moment it is the last one. So Sue Blue, please.
Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. Motionless I rest, my body on the earth, rough and rocky. The cave above me spans its shelter, rugged black against blue sky. Branches of a lilac overhang from above, their vines of blossoms draping like a curtain of scent. Before me, the vastness of the ocean, eternally in motion, the movement of each wave creating crowns of light. Before I know it, I brush the last crumbs of my scone from my chest and slip into the waves, cold and refreshing to body and mind, as the sacred sea embraces me.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And there is no doubt that I got not just a little excited, but way ahead of myself, because we've another 7 5-word challenge contributors to go. I've no idea how I missed all those 7 names coming in, but I did. But it's a good job we have Paul Case in the background, because he really runs the show. I'm just waffling away here in the hope that people will like me. Next up is Brian Franco.
We sat to enjoy her morning Earl Grey and raspberry scone and her antique wrought iron garden furniture. The lilac blooms were plentiful this time of year. The morning breeze caused the scent of the lilacs to waft toward the table and create a small cave in the movement of the morning paper. But the scone decided not to take shelter in the cave. Louise picked up a knife, cut the scone, and spread a slip of imported sweet Irish butter on the scone, soon to be devoured.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brian. I love the background. Love the background that you're throwing at us there. Excellent stuff. Next up is Augustina.
Hiya. Can you hear
Hiya.
me? Vulnerability and slips up. I'll start again. Vulnerability and slip-ups, dare humans lacking human touch, sometimes working like a sieve for the minor things, yet can maintain fluidity of our movement and half indecisiveness, desperately wanting to live, but questioning if there's anything left to give a second round or more, fighting the need to cave in, carrying the aura of a lilac, resembling confidence, blooming boldly and early in spring. And on the morning after nights where things were turbulent, tea would be ready and perhaps a scone or cake or buttered toast.
Lovely. Thank you very, very much indeed, Augustina. Jason is next. Jason Loughnane.
Yeah, can you hear me there?
I can, Jason, yeah. How you doing?
Good now. So the movement of the lilac dance in amongst the cabbage plants, a slip across the jagged land, a farmer with a scone in hand, the field an open cave of sorts, just a farmer and his thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jason. And thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Now, I should have known that we weren't at the end of the open mic, because at the time I said we were at the last one, Philip Spillan's name hadn't been read out. So Philip is always a contributor. So you're next, Philip. Delighted to see you, man.
It's an honor, Stan. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly through the
Hang on. Yeah.
cyber network. Movement. In bed, he heard the universe of the stars above. Outside his window, he heard the gears of the universe grind. Inside his bedroom, bathed in the lilac glow of a neon light. When he closed his eyes, he saw cave joins scratched in his mind. Sleeps. Daytime, he slips awake with the scent of fresh baked scones. Thanks for listening.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, Philip. Always a pleasure. Great to see you. Very quickly, Anne-Marie, it's not too late. I've made a note of you. Give us a couple of minutes and we'll get to you. Brendan Mulcahy is next.
Hello, from Wimbledon. This is a cheery one. There's a lot of darkness around. This one's called "Things Are Looking Up." The golfer trumps in a sand trap. See that movement shuddering in his niblick. From his lilac panties to his mouthful of crap, he's beyond being saved. He's gonna cave. I click my fingers and he's gone.
Excellent, Brendan. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. And I have your message there as well, Bill. Give us a couple of minutes and we'll get to you as well. Next is Mags Creedon.
I have to read now after Brendan blow you. So this is just for music as well. Orchestrate a grand new score for life this year. Slip into a solo run your latent fears. Don't cave into those concave curves, encroaching on your crotchety waistline bulge. So skip the scones. Devonshire cream scene. Sip a syrup of elderberry gin and lilac wine. Introduce the edits, proofread your script, delete the gaffes, the original riffs. Start with a soothing, calming intro, but build to a final movement crescendo. I spare a thought for my redundant musicians missing the gigs and all-night sessions, and the voices get crotchety and start to quaver. They're missing the beat, rhythm, originals, covers. Still enough music is the very finest thing. So tune out the interference and tune up for all rusty strings. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Mags. Thank you. I love the way Mags is always a little bit, hesitant about, oh, I have to follow this guy and follow that guy. Somebody has to follow you as well, Mags, which is problematic as well at times. But not for Catherine Ronan. Not for Catherine Ronan.
Hi, everyone. Especially for you, Stan, I called this poem Scone. Let's go to the park to talk about us over a scone, you said. And like a second movement from Vivaldi, I slip back from the rite of spring covered in jam and cream into the cave of your mouth. I'm not the best swimmer, but love your jagged shoreline. You are the sea. Don't spit me out. Swallow this time. Let me inside for once, under a naked lilac moon.
Now, Catherine, if I was the sole judge of the competition, you'd have won it before you started even reading the poem. But I'm not, so you'll have to wait for the audience to decide. Anne-Marie, I've just sent you a message there, so if you can have a quick... Have you got a poem, Anne-Marie?
I was just asking you what the 5 words were because I missed it because I...
Okay, all right.
But I just kind of wrote one freely, but I didn't know what the 5 words were.
Okay, look, what I'll do is I'll send you...
Scone.
Scone, yeah. I'll send you the 5 words there again now, and we'll just move on. I think we've only got one more done, but if you can fit them in, great, and if not, we'll just put you on we'll get you on to
just give me a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and we'll get you on to the open mic anyway for definite, all right? Thanks, William. I hope your son is okay, is he?
He's happy in his room gaming.
All right, excellent. So, lovely message there from Kathy that says, Bill for 5-word challenge with Kathy on Zoom. So, Bill, man with no surname, but you're up now, Bill, wherever you are.
I have a surname.
Okay.
We all have one. But mind your own fucking business, right?
I don't think I meant it literally, but hey.
Anyway, here we go. Slip lilac cup between my lips. Fingered scone, a cave reveal. There it is. It has to be. I can see it. Light, lips, movement.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much indeed. No, you've just got another little bit of time there, Anne-Marie, because I just...
Wasn't it brilliant, though?
It was absolutely amazing, Bill. It was worth the wait. And it was that good, I've got over the fact that you won't share your surname with me already. Thank you very much. Paul has you muted, so it's not even a conversation now. Thanks, Paul. So the winner, and we'll get to how we're going to get to that point now in a second, but the winner will get 2 books from the Ovale, which we will post out to you. And the tradition in Ovale is that the winner gets 2 books and a free drink. So you will still get a free drink tonight. We won't be posting it out to you, though. You'll just have to get it out of your own fridge. Is it 3 books now, Paul? It's 3 books. Yeah, 3 books and a free drink from your own fridge. Don't hold back on the expense of getting the free drink from your own fridge. Whatever else you do, make sure you treat yourself. Now, Anne-Marie, do you have something for us, love?
Yeah, it's awful, but I'll read it. Our movement began in '99. We slipped in and out of us. And like a scone, you were a scone, because you were from London, my dear. And one day in a lilac spring, you were gone.
Lovely. Thank you, Anne-Marie, especially since you made such an effort to get it done and ready for us. No, so we're going to try and decide a winner. What I need you to do now is you need to think about who you thought had the poem that most appealed to you and type winner and that person's name into the chat box. Paul will add up the scores and either announce it or let me know. He'll probably let me know. But it is Paul making the decision. I don't want anybody sending complaints to me about the fact they didn't win under any circumstances. I won't. It's not that I don't want to entertain it. I just can't. That's the rules. I don't make them. I'm just abiding by them. So if the person you thought had the poem that appealed most to you, type winner and their name into the chat box, and we'll have an announcement in a couple of minutes. And it's all very exciting. There's names flying through there, and there's loads of them as well. So we'll just wait for Paul to do a little bit of he's probably got the calculator and his legal documents to hand. But I'm sure he'll give it. Oh, they're still coming. They're still coming. They're still coming. Go on it. Every time you look, there's a new name up there. This could be a very interesting one. There's Carl coming back into us. Now, so as soon as we've finished that and announced the winner, we'll move on to the second part of the night. The second part of the night will begin with just a couple of very short housekeeping announcements, and then we'll have our two guest poets reading, Geraldine O'Kane and Colin Dardis. So really looking forward to that. So I'm still waiting on Paul. Michelle, are you saying that you have a pint of Beamish to give to the winner, or that you want a pint of Beamish for yourself, whether you win or not?
No, you had to be there, Stan. It was for the last one.
Okay. It's a location joke. Now, just while we're waiting there for the decision, 21 contributors is what I have here. We've got in total 33 people participating. 1 or 2 were a little bit late coming, so wouldn't have been in the 5-word challenge. Myself and Paul obviously wouldn't have been, so 30. that's a huge percentage of people here who've actually contributed. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Give yourself a pat on the back and give everybody else a quick round of applause, even though we're all on mute. And Geraldine and Colin. Yeah. Was that a Nick Cave book you held up a while ago, Colin, or is it a journal?
No, it's a book. It's his complete lyrics.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen that actually. Yeah. I was supposed to go and see him in Birmingham on the 2nd of May last year.
Oh.
Yeah, that was one of the major disappointments of the sudden change of circumstances.
Yeah, we missed a lot of gigs last year.
Yeah. What's Doc Janning holding up to us there now? Okay, I can't see that. Anyway, we have a winner.
Is that the Nick Cave Rarities CD, the B-Sides and Rarities album?
Oh, is it? Is that what that is, Doc?
No.
No. Okay, so the winner is Brendan. Congratulations, Brendan Mulcahy. You are the winner. So because you've been announced the winner by this esteemed audience, you get a chance to read your poem again, and Paul will get your address through the magic of the internet and send you out 3 books. And as we said, now read the poem before you go and get your free drink from your own fridge. But do read the poem again for us, Brendan. Thank you.
Yeah, it's milk and cranberry juice. That's not a very nice mix, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, things are looking up. The golfer trumps in a sand trap. See that movement shuddering in his niblick. From his lilac panties to his mouthful of crap, he's beyond being saved. He's gonna cave. I click my fingers and he's gone. Believe, people?
Thank you, Brendan, and congratulations. Congratulations on the win. And yeah, Paul, we'll be in touch with you there to get the address, and we'll get some books out to you.
Okay, that's smashing. Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you everybody for contributing again. Now, just a couple of quick announcements before we get to the guest poets, as well as the 5-word challenge that we do at every Ovale regular event. We have a 5 words international poetry competition. The first prize is €750 plus a nice piece of glass. Second is 500, and third is €250 plus publication invitations to read at Ovale in April 2021. The 5 words for that, you have a week to write a poem with those 5 words. They're released at midday on a Tuesday, but because we love the fact that you've turned up, we give them to you on the night so that you have a little bit of a head start. So the 5 words for the 12th to the 19th of January 2021, which is this week, are rain, fiction, round, turn, and paper. Rain, fiction, round, turn, and paper. Paul has just popped them into the chat if you want to copy and paste them out of there, and Paul will also be putting each of the announcements I make into the chat as I'm making them on his behalf. So is the Ovale aims to maintain a safe space for writers and the general public attendees. While the private chat mode is available for all participants to use during the event, we ask that you please be respectful when communicating via these channels and to report any online abuse immediately to Ovale, either through the private chat or to info@ovale.ie. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but it's there for people to just be aware of it, please. The open mic session after our guest reads will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via vimeo.com Ovale. If you really don't want to have what you're contributing to the open mic published on that, please let us know again through the chat or privately to Paul, and we will make sure that it doesn't happen for you. The Ovale Winter Warmer Festival went ahead last year, as always, although it was online this year. And part of that Winter Warmer Poetry Festivals, there was videos featuring 36 guests, plus the Ovale Poetry Film Competition screenings and mini concerts from the Irish Language Arts Song Project. They are all now available to view at ovale.ie Winter Warmer or at vimeo.com Ovale/Ovale. Again, this is all gone up in the chat, so if you want to follow up and then do I will say the poetry film is always worth checking out, always worth checking out. The next Ovale is on the 8th of February and features new work from the writers in UCC's MA Creative Writing Programme. It's always a great night. It's an annual tradition that we do, and it's always a great night. So if you're around, make sure you check into that. We do, like all organisations, need some money to to keep going, and there is a donation possibility for you tonight. Paul has typed here, thank you to everyone who's kindly offered donations, PayPal donations, any amount in pennies. That should really say cents for most of us. Although I'm sure some of you are still working in pennies, can be via our website contact page or the link that Paul is just to pop in there. So if you would like to and can make a donation, we would very much appreciate it. And that brings us to the end of the housekeeping announcements. And so we come to our two guest poets for tonight, both hailing from Northern Ireland. They're sharing a space up there tonight, actually, which is lovely to see. And as I said earlier on, although some of you weren't here, Geraldine O'Kane and Colin Dardis have been very active on the poetry scene for many years. There are two people that I kind of think I know because I'm so aware of them between online and their heavy activity in the poetry world, but I've actually never physically met either of them, which is was an interesting thought. But we're going to start first with Geraldine. I'm going to introduce them individually. So I'll introduce Geraldine now. She'll read for about 20 minutes, and then I'll introduce Colin, and he'll read for about 20 minutes. So Geraldine O'Kane is a poet, creative writer, facilitator, and a mental health advocate. Her work has been published in numerous anthologies, journals, and zines. She is one half of Poetry Northern Ireland, a multimedia platform offering opportunities and resources for poets in Northern Ireland. Geraldine has given TED Talk for TEDx Belfast and read a Poems Upstairs series in association with Poetry Ireland. She was recipient of the Artist Career Enhancement Scheme 1516 from the Arts Council of Northern Ireland, and one of IWARE's Best New British and Irish Poets in 2017. Her poems have been listed in the Melita Hume Prize, the Over the Edge Court 2019 reading, and Glebe House Harmony Trust Poetry Competition. Her debut full collection, Unsafe, will be published by Salmon Poetry in around April of 2021, having been pushed back a little bit due to the pandemic. Her micro poetry pamphlet, Quick Succession, is available to purchase via Pen Points Press. I'm sure we'll give you a link to that at some stage during the night. Geraldine is co-host and regular reader at the Purely Poetry Open Mic Nights in Belfast. She has also curated 2 multi-platform exhibitions, Poetry Perspective and Product of Perception, and is editor of Panning for Poems. An amazing resume there from Geraldine. One thing I haven't mentioned tonight is this is a First Fortnight event. First Fortnight is a mental health awareness festival that runs the first 2 weeks of January every year. I'll talk a little bit more about that. It's just that when I read the little piece from Geraldine's bio about her being a mental health advocate, I remember that I hadn't mentioned that. So please give us a warm Ovale welcome for Geraldine O'Kane.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Paul and Sam and everyone at Ovale and First Fortnight for having us do the guest reading for this session. I watched actually the Ovale as some of the winter warmer ones. They were brilliant. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely do. And I was really glad that we were doing the First Fortnight bit because as I say, I'm a mental health advocate, and I did First Fortnight in 2013. So it was really nice to be linked with that again, especially because COVID and lockdown has been so hard on people's mental health. So I'm going to read firstly. My poems are kind of story poems, so I kind of don't introduce them a lot first. But if I need to say something about them, I will. The first set is a little suite of micro poems. I write a lot of micro poems, and these are a little set from the book. So it's called While I Remember. 1. When you become smaller than birth, there is much less to pick on. 2. The epicenter of the divorce. I was their shrapnel. 3. Children who pecked at me as men became friends of my father, the bartender. 4. Gooseberry jam is granny in a jar. When I need faith, I open the lid, breathe her in. The second poem is quite a short poem as well, and they kind of get a bit longer as they go along. This one is called Venus in My Living Room. I was wearing the creativity bracelet you bought me the night that Venus and Mars were visible alongside the moon, and a girl wanted to sing strange fruit to the president-elect. The same night, a butterfly came into our living room, and a single speck of glitter was caught hanging on the tail of a cobweb, twirling, visible, and wondrous. I think that was kind of a reaction to when Trump got into office. Everything seemed big, and it was better to focus on things in your own life. This next poem is called Surviving the Sea. And I don't know if anyone remembers the story, but Matthew Bryce was a surfer stranded for 32 hours before he was rescued from this sea. He was stuck between Northern Ireland and Scotland. It was a very interesting story of his. Surviving the Sea. Rare west wind blows coast to sea, while I re-wax board, stretch limbs, climb into wetsuit, crash right into classic combers rolling in on the Atlantic Sea. No rip current, in fact, no current to speak of. It's the wind carrying my pleading voice away from last jot of land, from lighthouse, from all forms of rescue. For 32 hours, waves were my only earworm, vying for attention as my mind scorched. Get me out of the sea, the bone-grinding, pervasive, seeped-in cold of the sea. No one knows the levels of dark that comes when the sea tries to eat you at night. Black moonless sky, black land encircling, black endless bed of ocean. A single speck, yellow surfboard no better than a canary in a mine. Blue flies set it aglow in the darkest hour. Buff of wind, splash of mist, paddling to preserve body heat. If I close my eyes, I will drown. A seagull helicopters overhead. I dream of being found. Oh, thank you. This one is called Tree Tunnel. We walked mid-road under the tunnel of trees. Huge trunks branched above us, their leaves feather boas floating about their necks, sheltered us for a moment, only a moment, in a split second through the arc of recess where the sun had warmed to our skin, came sheeting rain, energetic beads with bellies full, readily dropping their payload. We did not twist in circles with arms flung wide and heads thrown back, catching rain with our open mouths. After 20 minutes and 2 car passings, we were drenched. Chills crept over our bodies. We stopped, sought sanctuary along the verge. You mimicking the tree trunks, providing as much shelter as your frame would allow. Curling in on me, latent against your chest, chin resting on porous hair, elemental, I attuned to the call of your heart rate, your skin. When a car pulled over, sweeping us away from the summer downpour. I've taken to writing some high buns. So this is a high bun. It's called Bikini Brights. Habitual. I have sat here in this very spot many times, yet have never noticed you're living, you're growing, you're coming into yourself. Today, honey, you shocked me with the vibrancy of your flowering, fluorescent apricot, bikini bright, attracting much attention from the bees, suckling your twining minds, taking life from you. I admire your giving. As soon I will be here again and you will be long gone, no more than a pungent memory. Summer raises an army of dead beauties. Making eggs. Omelets for breakfast? As I turned to agree, you were already breaking eggs into a bowl, the most natural thing in the world. Trusting your hand to separate yolk from white. Balance, you say, is important. 2 on 1. I'm 10 years old, standing at the cooker with her red hair flaming in Saturday sunlight. We are making omelets as we always do. Eggs, ham, mushroom, cheese, tomatoes on her side only. 3 summers from then, she will leave me without warning, and I will stop knowing how to break eggs. Your voice pulls me back to our kitchen, our life. I have loved relearning with you. It's probably as close as I get to writing a love poem. Poor Colin, he never gets a love poem. Probably when lockdown happened, my 2 initial thoughts were about the mental health of people stuck at home. And I did a thing on Facebook where I did a gratitude post every day and asked people to join in, and I did that for the first 100 days. And I think it helped me, but it helped other people as well. And the second thing I thought about was domestic violence. So there's a slight trigger warning for this probably. It's called hitting to hurt. Everybody saw us as the bull and the lamb. This is how I hid for so long. He was a chunk of a man. I sliced him to bits with my words, buried him with shame. I'm sorry for using such callous language. I'll try to rein myself in. Let's just start again. The first time my hands rose, it felt like they belonged to someone else. Afterwards, I wished so hard that they did. It's not like it was commonplace, but the second and third time I knew the fists were mine and I kept on using them. He stood there as I threatened to leave him if he didn't fight back, or if he did, I'd go anyway. Soon I was saving all my energy and hitting to hurt. Once I drew blood, no longer saw him as bull, husband, or human being. Then I knew I needed help. Am I okay for time?
11 minutes.
Okay, to go? Oh, no. Okay. Sorry, just checking the time there. Definitions. Perched on a hospital bed opposite a doctor, resting easy in the high-back visitor's chair, he hands you a clipboard and paper, having drawn a simple square, asking, "Can you copy this shape for me, please?" You contemplate the pen he gives you like it was just plucked from the back of a crow. You had always beautiful handwriting. I tried often, but could not mimic its soft cadence. Concentration lines take shape on your face as you try to comprehend how you might make the pen move on the paper. Eventually, you mark the page with a barely perceptible squiggle. Present it back to the doctor with a triumphant confusion. Unsure if what you've done is correct, but the relief of your shoulders from having produced something defines the moment. I want to enfold you in an embrace, transfuse back into you all the knowledge you poured into me from my very first breath. But you haven't finished giving, so I meet your eye, smile and proclaim, well done. Lockdown also has been very hard on people with living with dementia. I work for the Alzheimer's Society, and that poem's kind of a personal dementia poem. Well, I think I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to skip a couple of poems. 7 minutes. Right. This is called The Swimmer. It is one of those days where all the pens are laying nibs out, and the dough has not doubled as it should have for onion bread. When news of you, the swimmer, comes in, I look for words to describe, timid, soft, light. But you are none of these. I saw you as a lenticular print. At first glance, 1/7 Spanish angel, abundant with grace, a spunky sparkle pooled in hazel eyes. Then a strong oak, rooted firmly in your Irish identity, but ready to soak into your canvas all colours of life, reflected back through your own hands. You, the pause between breaths, the strength in silence. Desert Storm. The humming called me to the living room, where I found her knitting with the radio on. As I got closer, the sound pitched to keening sobs. My 8-year-old self believed she was crying because the singer sang of the good times she'd had in that old 57 Chevrolet, while our new car sat in a scrapyard. The drunk driver cut it in two with us inside 8 weeks previous. In the countryside, a single mother without a car becomes a landlocked desert. She must wait for the dust storm to settle, see if she can work, provide food and a home. I hugged her side on, as not to hurt her broken ribs. Oh, I've got 5 minutes. Okay, I think I've got time for both poems. It is in giving that we receive. 1985. My maternal grandmother throws holy water at the TV, a prayer so God will help Dennis Taylor become world snooker champion. Her 12 children must have been leading a novena so the television didn't blow up. I prayed daily for my family, that they'd be gifted a good day, that they'd live through the night. I prayed to God for things I wanted, things I shouldn't have. Answered prayers have consequences, like accidental fires and having to live temporarily with your father. 1996. I'm 15, being introduced to my first boyfriend's parents. By way of greeting, I'm handed a pair of rosary beads, told I will be giving out a decade. First sorrowful mystery, the agony in the garden is familiar to me as nobody puts baby in the corner. Once, St. Padre Pio appeared on the ceiling of Ardbo Chapel. It was midnight mass. I was tired, just gone through the communion ritual. I took his blessing into my heart center. 2012. I ask people, are they okay regularly? Get an ache when they say events have floored them. I tell people they look good in red, yellow, blue. Their eyes look lovely when the light shines from them. They chose the best words, spoke clearly from the heart, moved me, gave me chills. 2019. When I can, I hug with consent, meet eyes, end messages with kisses. I breathe and let go. laugh long with giddiness, grateful for people in my life. I support them to take a moment to breathe. Telling someone they are amazing is the best kind of prayer. It is in giving that we receive. Thank you. And this is the last poem. I think we've been thinking a lot about the environmental impact during COVID. So this is called Cleaning the Winds, and it's another high one. How do we go back without losing what we have gained? Is there a way to make things as simple as it is recorded in every reminiscence? Recently, I heard tell of wasp stings giving enough antiseptic to heal a small wound, cow dung preventing a burn from blistering, tea kept away from pesticides that will consume any ailment. But what about the world? How do we cleanse our dying world's wounds without losing our minds? Flogged, exhausted, flayed and exhumed. When will she give? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Geraldine, for that lovely, lovely reading. One of the things I love about writing is the way you can. So you have a beautiful line in there about in 2019, I hug with consent, which is a beautiful line in 2019 and has a completely different message
hug anyone.
in the current world. Yeah, but a beautiful reading. I particularly like Bikini Rights.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite ones as well.
That's great minds think alike, fools seldom different, all that stuff.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
Just
But thank you so much. Thank you so much.
See the man himself.
Okay, now you don't have to move. Just...
So our next guest has a wonderful resume, which I'll read now. What it doesn't say in the resume is that he moonlights as a timekeeper for Geraldine O'Kane from time to time. But he does that job amazingly well as well. So our next reader is Colin Dardis. He is a poet, editor, and sound artist. He is the co-host of the monthly open mic night, Purely Poetry in Belfast, and co-editor of 4x4 Poetry Journal. Colin is a previous ACES recipient from the Arts Council of Northern Ireland. His work has been listed in the Seamus Heaney Award for New Writing, the Obacha Prize Over the Edge New Writer of the Year Award, and the Sabator Awards, as well as being published widely throughout Ireland, the UK, and the USA. In 2018, Colin was commissioned by ACNI and Nikon to write a poem for the 70th anniversary of the NHS. In 2019, his poem Affinity, commissioned by CO3 and the Arts Council of Northern Ireland, was presented to Senator George Mitchell at an award event to honour his leadership role in peace building within Northern Ireland. Previous collections include The Dogs of Humanity, Fly on the Wall Press 2019, The X of Y, I Wear 2018, Post-Truth Blues, Loco Fo Chaps, Mora Books in 2017, and Doji, A Blunder, Lapwing in 2013. I'm sure we're in for an absolute treat. You big warm Ovale greeting for Colin Dardis.
Many thanks, Stan. Thank you to Stan and to Paul and Uwe and to the First Fortnight Festival for having us here. Geraldine and I have read separately in previous festivals for First Fortnight, so it was really great to get a chance to be here and do it together. Just in case anyone that doesn't know this and they think that we've broken our social bubble for the sake of a poetry reading, don't worry. Geraldine and I are married. We do live together. We're not breaking any laws. Don't shop us to the police. So folks, I'm going to start off. I'm going to read some poems from old book, The X of Y. I have to say, I haven't been feeling too great recently. It was a little bit touch and go, actually, whether I would be able to do this read or not, but it's okay. My doctor has written me a prescription. I've taken it and it's all great. And if it's okay with you, I would like to share that prescription with you. Please read all of this poem carefully before you start taking poetry. Keep this poem. You may want to read it again. Recommended dosage. Take at least once daily or as required. Do not skip doses or discontinue use unless directed by your local poet. What poetry is and what it's used for. Poetry belongs to a group of medicines called literature or literary art. It works by enlivening the brain and embodying the soul, taking other medications. You may continue to take poetry while taking other medications such as prose, drama, music, dance, and/or visual art. Driving and using machinery. Poetry may make you feel extraordinary. Do not operate heavy machinery while under the influence of poetry. If you take more than you should, it is not possible to overdose on poetry. If you forget to take poetry, if you forget a dose, make up for it as soon as you can. In emergency situations, please refer to an anthology. Possible side effects. Warning, side effects that may occur while taking poetry include wider imagination, inspiration, education, wonder, enlightenment, euphoria, the preoccupation of thoughts, the stirring of memories, intrigue, curiosity, late night conversations, spontaneous fillings of notebooks, trips to the dictionary, knowledge and aversion of cliches, empathy, and an interest in online open mic nights. Some patients have reported an increased need to go to the library. If this symptom persists, please refer to your librarian. Contact your local poet immediately if you experience any of the following symptoms: ennui, apathy, discouragement, melancholy, woe. What poetry contains. The main active substances of poetry are language, rhythm, sound, metaphor, cadence, form, rhyme, simile, allusion, alliteration, enjoyment, and imagery. For a full list of ingredients, see a university professor. Storage. Store in a cool, dry bookcase. Once opened, you may continue to reuse poetry repeatedly. Expiration date, never. Thank you. So that's a bit of a light-hearted start. The poems will get darker from here on in. We're here for first fortnight, which obviously the theme of the festival is mental health. So some of the poems I've chosen to read tonight is going to have a mental health theme. Just by sheer coincidence, I was doing a mental health workshop in work today online with the Mind organization. Part of that was talking about suicide. So perhaps because of that, I've been thinking today about a friend of mine that we lost to suicide. And I think that if we want to challenge the stigma that's around people feeling suicidal and wanting to talk about it openly and start saving lives, then we also maybe need to talk about the people that we've lost to suicide and not be ashamed to say that they took their own lives as well. So this poem is for my friend Lee. It's called Mist Flight. I have produced these dark grains of sand for you, taken from Ireland, that you might know a beach, Atlantic and Irish Sea. We have nothing of India, of Timor and Tasman. Forgive us. You won't be able to peel back the sellotape from the notepaper and inspect their surface. Salt and pepper constellations almost passing for gravel from outside my door. Listening to Fleet Foxes, your text pings an extra percussion, perfect timing. It says, "When are you coming over? You promised." All these postcards full of vacancy. I should have left more fingerprints on you. Everywhere is now too far away. Thanks, folks. This next poem, I don't think I have ever read it out in public before, so this is an exclusive just for you guys. Wow. It's called Mountaineering. I don't know why I haven't read it before, but I try to throw in every once in a while, kind of poem I haven't done in a while, just to try and keep myself sharp. Once you learn that grief cannot be shared, the mountain shrinks a little. Nowhere, her body, lost, frozen, unable to boast of adventure. Nowhere, a map left in an abandoned hut. The birds don't fly this far down. Your world is dizzy, oxygen lost of taste, blows full of sleep, pitched in the same place for half a year, the rations blundered. Months of snow, foaming bedrock, fix your guide ropes to its shell. The object is not to reach the top, but to drift down to the bottom and run free. I'm just concerting my little playlist. When I was younger, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare. This maybe when I was about 6, 7, or 8, pretty young, still shared bunk beds with my twin sister. In the dream, I was standing in a white room, completely bare. And in the room, I was in the center of the room, and on kind of opposing corners, there was a figure in a white robe and a figure in a black robe. And they held ropes, thick ropes. The black robed character was wearing a white rope and vice versa. And these ropes were tied to my feet. And in the dream, they would circle around me, and the ropes would certainly coil and start to wrap up in my body and bind me tight, and start to get to the mouth and cover my face. And that's when I woke up, freaked out. Never figured out what the hell the dream meant, but always remembered it. And maybe that was an early sign that I had some kind of anxiety disorder. I'm not sure. But this poem is about that, and it's called On Fear. When I tell you the story of the white robe and the black robe, the black rope and the white rope, and me in my night clothes, which each rope tied to my ankles, the story of two men silent in a white room, with faces I cannot see, robed men taller than I, who was a child, and each holding a rope, black rope for white robe, white rope for black robe, two solid blocks of color, and me held in between. And how the room is large enough for the ropes to lie slack between their hands and my feet, for each to take a wide circle, 2 points on the same groove, with myself as their center, so that each rope spirals up my leg in an interweaving pattern of black, white, all carried out in silence. How those monochrome ropes grip limb and torso to leap up my frame until I held their bind at my throat, and sweat comes out rope, stuffs out mouth, cancels the eyes until I jolt awake, screaming. And when I tell you all of this, you will dismiss this tale, because you've never felt the scratch of any rope held by any man in any room on any of your black nights. Thanks. Gosh, when I read that, I get a little bit riled, and I kind of got a bit tingly thinking about how that dream affected me when I was younger. Don't worry, I'm okay now. I've had years of therapy. I'm fine. Just because it kind of ties into it, I'm going to do a poem about sleep. Again, for people out there who struggle with mental health, probably you've experienced disruption in your sleep patterns, and certainly during COVID and lockdown. At the start of it last year, it took me a long time to kind of get used to it. Maybe it was only getting, 2-3 decent nights sleep in like a month. It was crazy. A lot of my poems, earlier poems, I should say, kind of, ran into that theme of late night, early morning, insomnia, what was going through your mind, what was happening in the world when you couldn't sleep. One of the later poems would be about that as well. But this is called The Outskirts of Sleep. Lie down this night and let your ribcage expand. Find contour with the bed and sneak breaths from under the rumpus of the day. 99% of people are whispering sorry into their pillows. The other 1% are sociopaths and are asleep before you are. Dreams can't reconstruct a damn thing. Only imagine the past into a weather less harmful. We won't wake up any drier under the new sun. I dreamt of a wooden chest that I drag around by a coat of chains, afraid to look inside in case I had already buried the treasure. I skipped ahead and coughed myself up before the alarm, so the night shuffle around me, saying it was sorry to still be here. I lay as a statue in the rain, my features slowly fading, forgetting how to sleep until the bird of exhaustion found a perch on my head. Why do you feel like this? The bird asked. I couldn't answer. My eyelids caved in, trying to needlepoint the light. So those are poems from the X of Y, a book that came out a few years ago. This is out of print at the moment, but I'm hoping to get a digital version online later in the year. I'm a great procrastinator. 6 minutes left. Okay, my goodness. So I'm going to be reading from the new book, The Dogs of Humanity, which came out with a Fly on the Wall press. Big thanks to Isabel Kenyon, the publisher and owner, for putting this out. I'm going to read, I've got 6 minutes, so I'm probably going to have to cut one poem, but I'm going to read The Wolf and Its Howl, another one kind of a bit about late night and sleep. The wolf have been with us for a while now. It watches us during lovemaking, nibbles a corner of the bed sheets and drools on the linen. It eats from our table, never waiting for mere scraps, pleasing itself on the main meat. It's the kick in our bellies when we cramp over from greed, the silence of thoughts so large, providing a chisel to the nearest wall to transcribe our lone bestial wails. The wolf, it bleeds onto this rented household. I do not know how it achieved its wounds. Lupine mystery will let it howl without a moon to show its teeth. We have no say in its lullaby. This one was written, I think, when we were originally in a performance group many years ago with some other Belfast-based poets, and it's based on Monopoly. Was Monopoly the prompt? I'm asking Geraldine off screen, but she doesn't know. I'm going to say Monopoly was a prompt for this poem. It's called Stages.
Oh no, it was the Bukowski poem.
Okay. Back then, you would go through the stages, the Faust box, the hair sprouts, the growth spurts. Now, you just stage, pass and go, and pretend to hit all the required stations while collecting your paycheck at the end of the month. And the thing about a Monopoly board is that it's really a circle. And the only way out is either bankruptcy or jail. Sure, some of us get a land on Mayfair or Park Avenue, but most sure can't afford to stay there for very long. The rent collectors are out with their long knives, and the taxman is looking to take everything that you inherited, from your father's shoelaces to your mother's graces and charm. But I hid everything in a deposit box somewhere. I left it to rust and utilized nothing of my fortune. That's why I'm such a miserable bastard nowadays. The dregs of the dogs down to his last stage. There are no refunds, no guarantors, and no one is coming to underwrite your screw-ups. God is coming to collect, and the riches that he expects won't be found in your pockets. I'm going to close because I'm running out of time. This is the last poem in the book. Thank you very much for listening to myself. Geraldine O'Kane, lady, she's pretty damn good as well. Big clap to her. Thank you very much for having us again. Sign up to the first fortnight mailing list. If this is your first time checking out event, give Avail a like on Facebook. Check them out as well. Please support them. We've done maybe about like 100 open mics or so up in Belfast. They are like at 600 and something. It's just crazy. We feel like little poetry babies in comparison to them. So it's great to kind of experience this and be part of it. And thank you so much. This is a closing poem in The Dogs of Humanity, again, available from Fly on the Wall Press. The theme, you know, a lot of the poems tie into dogs and other animals, but this is about the most vicious animal of all, the human, called the humane animal. And again, it's about sleep. How many are dying tonight? How many tonight are listening to make sure that someone else is still breathing? The dark seconds of void when neither breath nor movement exist. And the other side of the bed is that unconquerable distance of a consciousness. How many can't sleep tonight? How many unable to lay, despite their blackout curtains drawn to the world, the fertility of fresh sheets and lumbar support as useless as an alarm clock for insomniacs? And how many are scared tonight? How many want to burrow down into the nests like the newly hatched cuckoo and cry the loudest in order to be fed, waiting to be recognized as an imposter amongst the living? And how many are unanswered tonight? We all are. We all are. We all are. Thank you very much, folks. God bless you. Take care. Stay safe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Hugely thought-provoking, Colin. Hugely thought-provoking. Your first poem, which is, you know, an absolutely amazing piece, did a couple of things with me. I'm sure you've come across the Poetry Pharmacy, the thing that William runs. So
that at the start.
Yeah, so somebody gave me they gave me the book of that. It's probably a couple of years ago now, but it's interesting because, you know, you're talking about what poetry can do for you, and that kind of as like a medicinal thing, and that's what that's about as well. And not so long ago, kind of November and early December, I had a really difficult time with my own mental health. And one of the things I did was I went and I just picked out a few books like that one, poetry books, because I didn't have the capability of reading anything of any great length really. And I found huge solace in just going back to pieces of poetry that I've enjoyed over the years, just short things. And there's no doubt it is medicinal in some shape or form.
Absolutely.
But anyway, listen to the reading was great, and you know, thank the two of you so much. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your words and your work.
Thank you for having us. It's been brilliant.
So one more large round of applause. Yeah.
Can we see?
So we're going to move on to the open mic. This is a first fortnight event, and the partnership between Ovail and First Fortnight actually came around through my involvement with First Fortnight, which actually came about 5 years ago yesterday. And the reason I know the day It was the day David Bowie died. So that night, I was the MC at the Ovale that night, the night he died as well. Actually, just while I'm telling the story, if you want to be on the open mic, I've got 2 or 3, but pop your name in there if you want to go on the open mic, and we'll get moving on the list. So the day Bowie died on Monday, the 10th of January, I was the MC at the Ovale that night. And there can't be many people in the world who have a poem written using David Bowie song titles, and I happen to be one of them. So I read the poem at the start of that night. And it was strange, he wasn't happy with it. And then at the end of that week, the Friday night, I went to see a play that my wife was in that happened to be a first fortnight event. And it was about mental health. And I rewrote the Bowie poem on the strength of that, and then got involved with the first fortnight on the strength of that. It is an amazing festival, you know, to be in a space. I know this is a virtual space, but last year and the year before when we did it with first fortnight, to be in a space where people are prepared to stand up and read and talk about their own mental health issues is powerfully empowering. And I speak from experience because, you know, I've been in that place, and I know what it's like to be in that place, and I know what it's like to be in that place. And if somebody else says something or reads something, that affects you and helps you. So do check out the festival, and thank you to both you guys again for your contributions. I was actually going to read the Bowie poem, but I'm actually getting a little bit kind of angsty there. I know I'm actually just talking about that period, so I'm just going to let it go. And the first up in the open mic is Doc Jennings. There's names flying in here. Paul, are you taking notes of names? Because I've missed a whole load of them now. I'll get this thing in. So we'll get Doc Jennings on, and I'll see if I can expand this and make sure I haven't missed anybody.
The poetry about a nightmare reminded me of a poem I wrote some years ago. And I think it's appropriate. I've been there again, to the place between, the place that's not a place. It was a voyage unlike the last, an unwilling trip, a journey to that terrible place outside of space and time. I awakened swiftly from this trip, reeling in terror, wanting to run, wanting to scream, but having to hold it in. But what it was which scared me so, I do not, cannot know, and cannot, will not recall. All I know is the silence and the malignant dark, the eerie, brooding, malevolent dark, and that which should not, could not be, which haunts and stalks and terrifies me in the place that's not a place.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very, very much indeed. Appreciate that. Is Mary O'Connell with us, Paul? Yeah, Mary, you're up next.
I'm unmuting my mic. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So this, I was very moved also by the nightmare poem. This is not a nightmare poem, but it is a throwback to my hippie days. It's called Song on a Summer Solstice. Untamed and wary on the eastern slope, stood out clearly in the morning light. Startled by my presence, you retreated out of reach, threw back your tousled mane, and fled from sight. I waited, wondering at your poise and power, since I, a creature like yourself in form, hoped, if you came back, to win your trust. Grounded by fate and elemental ties, I sense we had a bond from older times. The spirit of the woods pitied our plight, called us to our truth, pulled us faltering to the fiery ring, rekindled memories of an age-old song that echoed in the blood a rhythm that went back to previous lives. It held us in an easy recognition, as on the day we danced together, circling and closing like two wheeling swans. We broke the spell of fear and found our human form. Now, distance pushes us apart. The magic circle breaks, a clear sign that you must build and bind a strong alliance with the one you love, that none so true, none so wise as she. We move on up and out onto the widening tracks of endless time. Who knows how, where, or when some future moment on the cosmic curve may find us yet again in altered forms. Perhaps some undiscovered ritual will stir our dreaming souls and bring us back to all that we have been.
Thanks, Mary. Lovely as always. I got your note, Paul. I actually have those two down a little further. Doc actually asked one ages ago, even though he asked again there as well. So next up, this is kind of a, some of you may not know this, but this for me anyway is like an Ovale. It's just a partnership that has to work because we had a great night in the Ovale one night. Actually, I was MC as well when these two followed each other, and it was great crack. And I always think of the two of them together. So Mary O'Connell, you'd be delighted to know that Jerry Murphy is coming on.
Oh, great, my son. I'm delighted. Delighted.
You there, Jerry?
Oh, God.
No, you're not.
Jesus. Let me go to sleep. This is, you should be in bed by now.
I know, sure.
This is called Fur, and it's based on a poem by Pierre Quart, who's a Catalan poet of the 20th century. What can we fashion from the skin of a supermodel? A winter coat for the vixen, a spring jacket for the mink.
Gotcha.
That's it, is it?
That's it.
I love it, Jerry.
Very powerful.
When Jerry Murphy says he's got a short poem, he means he's got a short poem. I love it. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you, Jerry. Thanks, my friend. Paul Talent is next.
Jesus, I can't remember what I was writing.
Is he there?
Oh, sorry. The internet cut out for a sec there. I didn't know. It was...
Yeah. No hassle. Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. Yeah, walk away there now, whenever you're ready.
Oh, sorry. It was interesting what you were saying about Bowie before, because I read that David Bowie used to cut up newspapers to make some of his lyrics.
Yeah.
I think it was Moon Age Daydream, I think, is the song he made that way.
I know. Sorry, Paul. No, I know you're going to read, but he actually made loads of poems that way. He actually developed in the very early days in computer. He developed a piece of software to help him to do that.
Really? I'm going to have to find that software because I had a little code and it's harder than I thought it'd be. So I've got a fairly nonsensical poem here, but I'll read it out anyway. And I just made it from a local newspaper and picked the most boring stories I could find and see what would happen. So kept safe at home, coaxing back those memories. I've hardly worked. I'm happy, healthy and content, driving in a straight line. Started rolling a cigarette. The thought of a cocky van driver offering Nirvana exploding into Lime Street. A well-strung sound, the sound of a carousel. A bad example, it's the cacophony of a school playground. When I look back on pictures of local people dancing, I know the smiles are genuine. knees are kicking, wanting to be fed all the bedtime stories. Close to tears, I couldn't walk, spinning dreams of a mum who was dreaming of a nice holiday. Some people seem to have no sense of danger. I wanted to feel, conjuring up images of walking down the aisle 8 months after the la 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 of the baby. The whistle of a kettle boiling, dad's playing the piano, rolled a cigarette, worker status, I don't feel self-conscious. And that was all thanks to the Liverpool Echo.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks. And just so with Bowie, he had that trick or technique, if you want, but he didn't actually always complete the song with those things. He would use it as a kind of a starting point, or just take inspiration from it. Isn't necessarily done that way. I'll probably end up reading the Bowie poem now at the end of the night, and I'll explain that to you when we get there. Thanks so much for that. Thank you so much. Paul, oh, it's one of those. I'm bound to get the surname wrong, aren't I? Anyway, it's Paul Rabanus, I think. Am I anyway close to the correct pronunciation of that?
No, but that's quite all right. Thank you all for having me. I'm reading from New Jersey in the United States, and just don't ever take democracy for granted. That's my take on this past week, but all good. So this is a little poem I just finished this morning, actually. It's called Bare Trees. I never understood what all the talk was about when they brought up renewal, another cycle of seasons, eternal hope. I'm not even sure who they are, but kept asking and believing one day it might happen, like a seed pushing through frozen ground, or a petal after morning rain unfolding. So today I wake early, choose a pair of jeans, brown boots, wool cap, and worn leather jacket, as if today might be the day, and go out. Sidewalks lined with fallen leaves, bare trees, and hear a tapping on the pavement. Glance up at your jeans, your wool cap, brown boots, and snug leather jacket. In passing, hear you whisper something like, don't listen to their lies about spring, renewal, and the cycle of seasons. Hold on to your promise, because in the end, all you'll have is this moment to live and relive over and over until winter blankets the streets, summer cracks the pavement, and you'll read them a poem about the first time in autumn. Wool caps, leather jackets, and no eternal hope for anything except fleeting moments that remain with you forever. Thank you.
Very much indeed. I can never hear anybody talking about falling leaves in autumn without being reminded of an Eagles song called Wasted Time that Don Henley wrote, which has this beautiful line and that says, and the autumn leaves have got you thinking about the first time that you fell. Yeah, but that's me, you know, and you're a lover.
And also a beautiful old Fleetwood Mac album, Bare Trees.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, I've forgotten that one, yeah. Thank you so much for that. Somebody popped a message in the chat a while back, I can't remember who it was because there was so much happening at the time, wondering about the poetry pharmacy thing that I mentioned. This is the book. Paul's name is William Seacott. I'm going to pop that into the message now. I'm just going to hit, so if it was you that was looking for that information, it's now there for you. Next up on the open mic list is Ada.
That came too soon. Okay. This is Evelyn in very short lines. I try to experiment with, and it's about bread. You take the bread and see the lights are dim. It's full of lead. It leaves no bread. You think it's time for gym. You leave the bread. We're all fed with bullets to the brim. It's full of lead. It's never said how many lives they trim to make that bread. Here for the dead inside your loaf a hymn. It's full of lead. I'm really mad. This poem no mere whim. You take the bread, it's full of lead. The last line in caps. I was supposed to be screaming, but no. This mic won't take it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've always had admiration for anybody even attempts to Villanelle. I've just never had the wherewithal to do it. But thank you so much. I'd appreciate it. No. Massimo is next on the open mic.
Hey, I'm always glad to be here. All right. May all beings be happy, and may our healing come naturally. May we all find peace gradually, till finally there's nowhere and no one we'd rather be. And if there are any who are suffering, may there be an end to your suffering. A peaceful world is a lovely thing, but inside each of us is where it must begin. And may we all find rest and see how the meaning of being is being blessed. Every moment that you breathe could be your next. So may you find what makes you love and let it lead the rest. And may the lost find freedom and then help us find the way when we see them. Whatever each of us may be seeking, may we find peace for our finding and our keeping. And if we hear cries for justice, may we have strength to change what just is. Maybe it's just him or just her, but what if it were just us? Now, how must we just live? And may we all find forgiveness. Over burnt bridges, may love bridge the distance. Mistakes that we make show that we make a difference. So may innocence thought lost be found in this instance. And may we show love to our loved ones who are here, who are gone, who we loved once. Where they've gone, where they are, where they've come from. May they always know that they're loved because we love them. And most importantly, may you be happy and find the feeling of your joy that comes naturally. May we all find peace gradually till finally there is nowhere and no one we'd rather be. So namaste, namaste, namaste. Amen, hallelujah, say hey. Shabbat shalom tovaleinu ashereh. Assalamu alaikum, may peace come to you and stay. I heard peace is not just the goal, but the way. But I have broken peace more times than I can say. That doesn't mean I can't still wish and pray that all creation somehow finds a way to be okay. All right, thank you. Always an honor to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great to have you here. I love the line, the meaning of being is being blessed. Super. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next up is Pam.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. I am sun-toughened nomadic feet, cracked parched earth, shifting sands, wavering mirages, offering and withdrawing, cool water oasis, shaded mountain. I am same-sided gait, even-toed undulate, eyes and nostrils closed to storm, sand-scrubbed, purified clarity, cornflower blue scarfed wind, cloud-shifting shapes, sky brushing earth, breathing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Pam. My ears have become fine-tuned now at this stage. Purified clarity. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stephen Knox is next. Man who almost has the same surname as me. Almost. Are you there, Stephen?
Almost, yes. Thank you. Yeah. thanks to everybody that's read tonight. It's great. I really enjoyed it. This is a poem inspired by the lovely north coast of Northern Ireland. It's called Upon a Rock. There's worse things to be doing than to sit upon a rock, while the roaring North Atlantic finds the key to unlock the toxins in your body and the turmoil in your head, feeding your neglected soul a feast of heaven's bread. This gift is from the furling surf and from the northwest breeze, a cure for the mud-clogged mind born on swollen seas. As peace comes flowing in on the Fulmer's gliding flight and rests upon your shoulders and leaves your burden light. Thanks.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Oddly enough, not last year, because obviously last year was a write-off. The year before, I was on the north coast of Northern Ireland, actually physically on it for the first time in my life. I'd spent a bit of time looking at it from the sea when I was with the Irish Naval Service, but obviously we didn't go ashore there. It is actually far more beautiful than I ever expected. It was absolutely stunning up there, absolutely stunning. So thank you for reminding me of that. Dan Johnson is next.
Hi guys, what's the crack? Good to see you all.
Good to see you, man.
I've been drinking loads of tea lately for lack of anything better to do, so maybe I want to read this poem. It's called Boil the Kettle.
Oh, God.
I boil the kettle again. If the day is a sentence, the kettle is the first capital letter, the final period. The punctuation in between, a bladder burst with so many commas of milky tea. The filament is murmuring, the tea is set ready in the mug. I've never timed it, the boiling, but now I ask it questions. What are you? As if to measure the what of time or why, the transitory in-between space that might quantify or qualify moments of blinks and breaths, heartbeats, sentences, and mugs of tea. I boiled the kettle again. Thanks very much.
That's absolutely brilliant, Dan. That is absolutely brilliant. And, you know, reading a poem about putting the kettle on to drink tea to an Irish audience, that's what you call knowing what you're about. If you'd mentioned Barry's tea in the middle of it, we'd have all been leaping around the place with excitement. That was great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anne-Marie is next.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can indeed. Welcome back.
Okay. I've really missed traveling since lockdown, and I've really missed the different types of rain all over the world, and I wrote a poem recently about rain. It's called My Rain. I love rain. This rain, that rain. I know messing about rain. A soft, sweet rain, a spitting rain as I contemplate an umbrella. The rain that batters down on me like a shower of angry slippers, flapping at my head, drenching me in seconds. I don't have a favourite rain, although picture a moment in West Limerick, Ireland, a field of black and white cows, heads down, rain puddling in emerald green with misting hills behind. That misty rain, it comes close. I was watching a rainy night in Japan on YouTube the other day. A man walking alone through the rain. The rain sounds plinked, plonked through my laptop, creating a familiar ache for foreign places. Dark roads lit by a few cars. Street names I know I delight in trying to learn. A faraway lane of rain that might fall with a different slant. Rain in another tongue.
Wow. Never, ever ceases to amaze me where we can find inspiration from. That was absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Yeah. You should. It's a pity you didn't have that when they were making Angela's Ashes. It was an absolute banker to get into the soundtrack one way or another. Next up is Carl Holden.
Hey there, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Carl. Good to see you, man.
That's the story. I was just weighing up which poem I was going to do there, so I tossed a coin. I got 5 tails in a row. That never happens. It was like best of 3. Nah. Anyway, this one I wrote it over Christmas. It's I don't really have a title for it yet, but here goes. Evening eats the flowers. Day returns them woken. So slip into the night with petals open. Still be wary. You may not fly wounded dragons. You must rest them, bring them tribute, feast them in empowering. My wishbone was broken, so I made a wish of mending. I passed a season hurting and another in forgetting. Before my wish was granted, and my body taught me wisdom, vision healer. Look here above the ranges, through the mist like Himalayas. I can see St. Peter's and St. Finbarr's between Mount Eagle and Schliebrennen. You are sprung from earth and river. You are silver from the mountain. And all that you will find up here is the head you kept your clouds in. Clear and open, for first light was spoken. The breaking wheels are broken. Love is the word that made you. Return before you're made to. That's the trick. To rain in rays of sunshine, with rain for all your raiment, arrayed in glory. Arranged as is the chorus of the dawn in early morning. Dress in day, for you are waking. I am dowsing. I am calling. My heart comes back from drifting. It has come across a distance, and I will cross or drown in the ocean of my mission, lover's purpose. I come for my fullness. I gather light in darkness, bringing solstice to my madness. To behind me leave the underworld aglow with all my torches, so I may come and go as do the fish in flowing waters. Come now, making light. Come, be breathless after. It is always the beginning, and the stars are fresh with laughter, wash in their great river. It is for those who have suffered, as likely as we'd have it when we tell ourselves to others. When the wind plays with your hair, does it ask for your forgiveness? Life is play, for death is in us. We are greater for the wisdom in its levy, though the heart deems the scales heavy. Apparatus, to thine own self be true. Incarnations as in tulips, you wilt, and so you must do. Do not weigh your feathers, but add them to your wingness. Death, rebirth, and solstice. Good morning. Happy Christmas.
Thanks, Carl. Excellent as always. Lovely reading as well. Excellent. And just before I introduce the next person, I had one name put forward for the open mic that said maybe. You might pop us a message there if you've made your mind up to go, yes or not.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go ahead.
Okay, so you're not this time. You're not this one. You're the one after that. Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. So Margaret is next.
Thanks, Stan. Could I also give a plug for Deborah's spoken word on Wednesday night, because it's along the same theme, the theme of loss through suicide or any loss for that matter. I think you might be involved in it as well, Stan, we're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better. So I'll be watching. So I'll put the title of the group into the chat when I'm finished. So if anyone is interested in coming along on Wednesday. Anyway, this one I wrote last March or April when I was cocooning. And it was a very different time to doing the same thing now, because the weather was better and you could stand in the front garden and observe all your neighbours and chat to them at a social distance, where you can't do that now. Really, it's too cold and too wet. So this was what I was imagining when I spotted a neighbour one day passing by, and it's called Escapism. As I sit on the lawn, I see your sinuous form, sashaying, hips swaying, while you stroll my way. I know you don't know me, but a tale I have woven has me plucking your form to inhabit my dream dorm, to capture your essence and have your indoor presence, to unveil and reveal your erotic appeal. Your rippling muscles cause my knees to buckle as my eyes explore, sexualizing for more. Your dexterous hands play havoc with my glands, releasing hormonal flushes, emitting rapid-fire gushes. I wonder if you sense, as you pass by my fence, what fantasies you've emboldened, what scenarios you've unfolded. That's it.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you so much as always, and we'll see you Wednesday night for sure. Yeah. So just to make absolutely sure people aware what the First Fortnight Festival is about, it's a mental health awareness festival, but it's on the first 2 weeks of January, and it's called the First Fortnight Festival because the first 2 weeks in January is the period of the year, every year, that suicide rates are highest in Ireland. That obviously is connected to Christmas and that being a very difficult time for lots of people. So that's what the First Fortnight is about. Thank you, Margaret. And that, yeah, pop the details of the Wednesday night thing into the chat box there. So next up we have Augustina.
Hiya, I hope my mic is clear. Is it?
Yeah.
So this one is called She Sees Him. When she sees me, she sees him. Raised shoulders, raised chin, raised brows, raised voice, raised hand, raised expectations, raised walls, erased thoughts. Disappointment, broken relationship, broken dreams, instability. When I see me, I see someone I'd like to know. Raised shoulders, raised chin, raised brow, raised hand, embrace thoughts. Sometimes I don't know, someone I don't know, someone I never knew, someone I would like to know. Be seen enough, but don't be heard, but be heard enough, but can't be seen and not forgotten about, but be remembered enough that you might get attention, validation, compensation for the degradation and the manipulation you've had since your intuition of life, but it's all from the wrong places. Raised shoulders, raised chin, raised brows, raised voice, raised hand, embrace thoughts.
Excellent piece. Excellent piece. I need to hear that again at some stage. It was a little bit in the middle where it was very intriguing, but it was just happening a little bit too quickly for me. That's not a critic, that's just the way, you know, so I'd like to hear it again. Thank you so much, Augustina. Next up, we have Moira.
Hi, right, this poem was written last month. So, yeah, I don't think it's really out of date. And a lot has changed here. We'd been living pretty much normally, but I've now gone into quite a strict lockdown in the last week, having been COVID-free for 6 months. But here we go, 2020 vision. 2020, December, the end of a year to remember, a year to forget, to look back on with horror, sadness, regret, and yet, as we flooded the internet, as face-to-face time turned to FaceTime and Zoom time in our rooms time, in a world united in isolation, in separation, we found consolation, turning online validation, whatever our station, status, or nation, reaching across the world in all directions, words forged connections, collections of artists, making paintings, musical creations, sharing poetry, photography, separated by geography, we came together, laughed at clever memes, acknowledged universal themes of love and loneliness, illness and hopefulness, found happiness, things to make us smile, help us to while away the hours, knew that others felt as we did. others did what we did. The silver lining? Finding the common threads, binding us, joining us, reminding us that however distant we may be from friends and family, community does not require proximity. It merely requires you and me. So now we look ahead with clarity, with 2020 vision, to see what we can be, what we can do here in this new year to make for everyone in 2021 a better world, a better place, to support and embrace every member of the human race. Thank you.
Excellent piece, Maura. Excellent piece. Love to play it on 2020 Vision 2. Excellent, excellent, excellent piece. Thank you. And very beautifully read as well. Michelle, you're back.
Back.
You're back.
Thanks, Ben. It's really good to see the first fortnight going ahead this year. Definitely super relevant this year, above, especially relevant, I should say. I want to, just going to read a short enough poem. I want to echo this string of nightmare poems that have been raised tonight, and just acknowledge everybody that's suffering there, and also anybody who misses dancing the most. Torment the psyche, stalk me devil, I'll move, I'll touch the earth. Waltz with this drum, strum hum to blood tunnels, cables of clay, 80 miles of limitless. Follow my lead, evil, I'll count you in. I can puppet you with the wood of a plant, drape you in a petal-studded dress. Perform your beauty for the wind to have something to meet on its way, to remember you by. It gossips to the next uplifted arms, recalls you and glows, washes and rinses, agni sig rinka say Henri, partake in my play, mavanri medil. If you will often tip the scale, standing on one stilt, I'll drop the drawbridge of the other, as flowers fall and wilt. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Michelle. Lovely piece, as always. Hope you're doing well. Philip Spillane is next.
Thank you very much. Yes, Michelle would love to write a poem that you could dance to, or that you go dance to. Just very quickly, have a quick announcement. One of the projects that I've been indulged into is called the Lockdown Collection. It's of the arts, music, artwork, sound, and more. It was premiered 2 months ago. Section 2 will be coming soon. The date will be confirmed. Just waiting for everybody's stage names to be to be sorted out. But it is going to come near the end of the month. We got music from Eileen Healy. We got poetry from Daniel Johnson, from Gabriela Di Salso from Portugal. We got artwork from Harry Glass and from the Shandon Art Studio, and much more talented contributions. And I hope it can come up soon, and I hope you can all tune in. The best place for you to get more updates about it is to look at my Facebook page and to follow it. And I'm sure I'll put up the poster very soon. Keep an eye out and support, and hopefully you all welcome to contribute if I make a third locked out collection. I'll post my Facebook page up in a moment, and I hope you all support. Thank you. And I was going to say a quick poem. Growing up, I am buried within. I am buried inside many eggs. A chrysalis within a chrysalis within a chrysalis within a chrysalis. Horizons of onions. Each year, when I hatch, I am again pull, reminiscing about being a caterpillar who's imagining being a moss, who's really acting like a child. And in the end, I'm asking, who am I? Thanks for listening, and take care, everyone. I miss you all.
Thanks, Philip. Was it a chrysalis within a chrysalis or a Christmas within a Christmas?
Chrysalis, where a caterpillar
I thought that was
grows.
it. Somebody has a message in saying a Christmas within a Christmas. Then I was thinking I misheard it. I thought it was chrysalis. Yeah, thanks. Listen, people take what they want from poetry, as you know. Thanks for being great. Great to see you. Pop that detail in the message there. Don't forget it. The lockdown thing.
Thank you.
Brendan is next.
Yeah, thanks, Stan. Where we live in Wimbledon, we're very close to the tennis stadium, and each summer we expect something like 50,000 people a day to swamp us. And then this year, nothing. So it's a poem really about silence and the sort of facilities being claimed by other creatures. It's called Flockdown, Wimbledon Summer 2020. Pigeons populate the 8mm regulation lawns at the AELTC. Over the road, geese gravitate to golf club greens, filling up on fairways, receding to roost. Mowing and manicuring go on, golfers and croquet crew poised for the return of their normality. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Good to know you live in Wimbledon. I've been more than once, and the parking scenario can be tough, so I might shout you up the next time I'm at Wimbledon.
Well, we're only 400 yards away, so you're welcome.
Oh my God, that's absolute magic. Perfect. Absolute magic. It was actually fascinating when I went the first time to realize that, I'm not saying you're one of these, but that people use the parking scenario in their driveways. The guy we parked with for the couple of days said he pays for his annual family holiday from the parking fees he charges during the 2 weeks of Wimbledon.
There is lots of that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Pleasure.
Catherine is next.
Hi everyone. I wrote this poem about seasonal affective disorder, and I call it SAD. November. Snake shifters must accept old dead skin on the ground. Slither into new year. Same fault lines as before. Nothing changes old notes. Badly played piano in winter. Brumation every day. Toes stop caring, walk on glass. Finger frosted blue cracks fail to find light. When it rains, we wash, read Greek mythology, pretend we are better than Icarus with a dream, wake up in March.
Oh, wow, lots going on there, Catherine. That's great. Slither into the new year. Yeah, I think this year was the first year I really accepted that the SAD has a bit of an impact on me. But like I said, I had a tough time in November. And look, there was lots of learning came out of it. Yeah, it affects an awful lot of people. So thank you for that. Thank you very much indeed. Kieran, Cork man in Kilkenny, is up next.
How are you all? How's it going?
Hey, dude.
Good to hear ye. Hope everybody's keeping well. Have I done enough today when it comes to it, really? Have I put it where it needs to go? Have I smelt the gap between to and fro? Will I ever find myself so clever as to endeavor to outlaw every never? Wouldn't know whether you were the first muscle or the last feather. You are as I feel you when it comes only to me, and it doesn't matter much, but it's all there is to matter such. Every hand is a glove that fits, every scratch was thinking where to itch, patching where lost a stitch. The fading fast, wish for a glitch, that you could hold on to all of it. Pacing on's going to make you twitch, but you take the peaks with the pits. You'd have had your tweaks, but you let it sit while you were steeped in counterfeit, sick to the teeth, though it's had its bits and pieces, promises to iron out your creases. You are only at least, but You are waiting to cease what? You can call me no beast, lessons learned through gleaming teeth, my jaws they seethe. You best believe I'm newly freed, fleeing from this month's best perceived, blessed conceived, a festive greed will come to see you laughing at me, your children's your children teethe as the slate's wiped clean. You're already late, you've just turned 3. You wait at the gate expectantly in the buzz of your perceptions need. You are giving in your concept of greed. Though living life the lucky seed, I only smile at you to please. Measure me while on my knees. While I wander past you in a breeze, the yonder stacks attracting fleas, persistent brash versions of me. You are as cast as the eye can see. The first and last differ only in timings that flitter slowly, soft and wanting action. The lack of traction's new attraction has come along to sound the klaxon. You and your friends must be laughing, making amends while new wounds marking. My God, we are starving for the sculpture you are carving. There ought to be no gift in parting, for you are feathered for a farthing. The end must have happened while we were starting. It only seems when it's worth imparting. Plenty of dreams, poisons, and pardons. Thank you.
Good man, Kieran, boy. Good man. There was a bit of anger. Excellent stuff. I love it. Cheers, my friend. Cheers. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hope Kilkenny's treating you well, man. Colin Scully, come and join us on the open mic.
Hi, thanks, Dan. We had a poem about raining earlier, so this one is about snow. So it's a winter poem, and it's about the heavy snows we had in Ireland over a long period. It's called The Big Snow. Do you remember the big snow? I ask. You remember all of them. 47. Horses pull coffins over frozen ground. 2 weeks before a man can be buried. The wells frozen. The army tied to barracks while the turf ran out. You're at typing school, Miss Lombard's, making your way up Patrick's Hill. Your father's socks pulled over patent pumps, digging your heels into the ice. Shorthand copy squeezed under your arm, dreaming of your first job. 82, ESB men out on the pylons. Soldiers deliver water off the back of trucks. The Commons Road 100-meter ski slope for fertilizer bags and school sacks. You keep your youngest home, a housewife 20 years, you hold the house while we're off playing. The travelling grocery van arrives through heavy drifts with spuds and sausages, your saviour from Fairhill. And then the last, 2018. Schools closed for 5 days, no bread. Queues for wine outside the service station. You phone to tell us stay indoors, don't cross the city. The roads are treacherous, cars abandoned. A child is killed in a fall infirmary. It's worse than 47. You're nearly 90. Your peers are dead. You won't see weather like this again. The slushy mountains thaw to black along the roadside. Thanks.
Thanks, Colin. History lesson there. Great opening line, real Cork. Do you remember the big snow? Great line. Thanks a million. Final participant on the open mic for tonight, unless I've missed anybody. I don't think I have. But if I have missed you, pop me a message while Rosalind Blue is reading for us.
Well, thanks very much. I think I've hardly ever been last, so this is an honour to close the mic. Which poem will I choose? I won't go moaning like I thought when thinking about maybe writing for the mental health on the mental health topic or reading on it tonight. I don't feel like that. I'm going to read a poem instead that I wrote originally in 2013. when our house was on sale and I had had a brain injury and it felt like the carpet was being pulled under my feet every time we had viewers coming in. So my partner used to come in and get me. I was half asleep or unconscious anyway. And he'd put me in the car the way I was, and we'd park up the car somewhere nearby and we'd go back in the house when the viewers were gone. So this is what I wrote while sitting in the car. And I wrote it in German originally, so it's translated. Compulsory sale. While the house waits, I watch the raindrops on the windscreen evaporate. No one comes. The house sparks and gleams, proper, tidy and clean. It's a good house, a nice garden, a fine little attic room, my studio. It's been a good home, 7 years long. No one comes. I wait for the buyer who takes the house off the bank, off our backs. The good house. I let it go with sadness. I want no one to come, so it can remain our home. Yet someone has to come, so the burden is lifted. The debt is suffocating our family. I wait, want to see that agent, that buyer who'll say yes, who dares. I want to see them. It's our house. With sadness, I look back. No one comes. Now someone comes, and the raindrops on the windscreen have dried up. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Roz. I'm so happy that you were thrilled to have the honour of closing the open mic, and unfortunately I have to take it away from you immediately because there's a couple of people that I think I missed. I've had messages from. So, but thank you so much for that lovely poem. Thank you so much. Brian Franco. You okay, love?
Hello. First, I want to say, Roz, you have the most hypnotizing voice I've heard. It's amazing. Here it is. This is called A Random Act. It was a cold, drizzly December Maine afternoon. Not cold enough for snow. Not a strong enough rain to call it real rain. It had snowed at Incher 3 that morning. Not enough to take out a shovel, easy enough to drive through. The type of snow that gets melted away by a couple or 4 hours of rain. I drove the 45-minute weekly road trip to wait in line for about 15 minutes to enter Trader Joe's and exited with 2 bags. I rolled my cart 2 parking lot aisles over to the cart receptacle, and while walking back to my car, I saw a woman holding several bouquets of flowers, carefully placing the cellophane wrapped packages stem end down under windshield wipers. I asked her what she was doing. She said that on a day like today, she thought people wouldn't mind getting flowers from a stranger. She extended her right arm toward me and offered me a bouquet. I hesitated to accept, but accepted. I suddenly felt flattered and thanked her. She smiled and responded, just a random act of kindness. I got in my car and inspected the carnations and chrysanthemums that looked like they were painted with melted Skittles. I began to giggle. I felt a few warm tears roll down my left cheek. I reached around to the pocket in the back of my seat to grab a roll of paper towels to tear one off to use as a Kleenex. I wiped my tears and blew my nose and started laughing again. I heard my mother's spirit telling me that crying when happy is genetic. Suddenly I could feel my father's arms stretched across my shoulders, giving me a gentle pat. My Uncle Sam was offering me a slice of gooseberry pie for breakfast and out of after-dinner aquavit. My Aunt Lila was explaining to me that Velveeta was the secret to a good pot of cheese grits. I think she would have approved of my version with Asiago, coconut milk, curry leaf, lime zest, and white pepper. My Aunt Charlotte was tightly hugging me, acknowledging that her secret depression wasn't something I had to keep secret. My Uncle Ralph offered me an ice-cold Fresca and told me he was no longer afraid to converse with his teenage nephew he thought might be gay. My friend of 21 years, Beth, wasn't telling me she had decided to discontinue chemotherapy, but instead was making her famous potato soup. while her giant yo Labrador Ebenezer was asking me to rub his belly. This random act of kindness flooded my heart with sunshine. The sun was refusing me that cold, drizzly December Maine afternoon. This random act of kindness allowed me to feel a little less pandemic isolation sad, a little less afraid, and a little less alone. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're very close to the end of the night. Mags Creedon is the last on the open mic list this time around.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you loud and clear, Mags, my darling.
Okay, just watch me for time. It should be 3 minutes. I suppose I still think it's Epiphany and it's Women's Christmas, so there's two sides to it, and I'll just do a short little silly bit, and then I'll just do the story of the little girl who was a teenager who was fleeing persecution. So it's a little song that I wrote to the Singers Club. So, I wish you all an epiphany, a brainstorm of sparkling ideas, and last year out on its ear, back in a cheerier new year. Because we've all been locked up at home, covertly grazing alone and burning our ears in the phone and doing our very finest moan. So I wish you all a revelation, bottomless and sparkly libation, and we'll all come out of isolation and become emerging a healthier nation. So this is the story of the little girl. In a stable in a far-off eastern land, he tries, I'll get rid of this, he tries to shelter her from desert wind. No welcome for the maiden child she's bearing, just the cattle breathing low to warm the air for him. What kind of a world for her little one? Little one, he's first gazing to a place where they will hunt him down. A king who take each other mother's firstborn son. What a price, what a sacrifice for this son of man. And the wise mums laid their treasures at his feet. They had followed a herald comet from the east, and Melchior and Caspar Balthazar had foretold this little guy's coming from the stars. What a journey to be placed upon a brave little girl. It's too soon for her, she's too vulnerable and so tender. But this mother and her man, he was a carpenter, kept their baby safe in Egypt till their safe return. And now fly to starry skies to a moonlit hill, where the shepherds and the lambs on angel wings sing Gloria in eggshells, Esteo, Shalom, Al Salam, peace on earth to all true men of goodwill. Shwe Shalom Al Salam. That's it.
Lovely, Max. Thanks so much. Good to see you, my love. We've reached we're very close to the end of our first fortnight event tonight. I'm going to leave you with a poem. I can't read the David Bowie one. I'm not able for tonight. But I'm going to read one that is the most honest piece I've ever written about mental health, which is my own mental health. So just, before I read it, this, could be a little bit triggery. There's lots of people here that I've spoken to about mental health over the last number of years. So I know it's a topic that lots of people have experienced and have an interest in. So I'll just read you this before we wrap it all up. This is called Policy of Truth. The truth is tonight a dark trance spent the night. The truth is this happens all the time to broken, damaged people. The truth is I am broken, damaged, fractured. The truth is it's no good being broken, damaged, fractured. The truth is broken, damaged people feel free love is strange love. The truth is broken, damaged people are always fools to fragile tension. The truth is fractured, damaged people rush to pain. The truth is broken, damaged people surrender to addiction, fall into the abyss. The truth is for broken, damaged people, choosing the dark road is the price of love. The truth is choosing the dark road is a pain that I'm used to and suffer well. The truth is broken, damaged people always rebirth stories of old. The truth is, in a world full of nothing, scared, sacred shame soothes my soul. The truth is, addiction tears you apart. The truth is, sometimes, in the dead of night, I wish I were dead. The truth is, I promise you, I will hold on. The truth is, the child inside is miles away, gone, lost. The truth is, all I ever wanted was to shake the disease. The truth is, I just can't get enough of endless excess and compulsion. The truth is, I'm useless, gone too far, a horror story. The truth is, pain stripped my joy. The truth is, pain shouldn't have done that. The truth is, one thing, one caress can light my sun. The truth is, the future starts here. The truth is, when turning away from condemnation, I feel love. The truth is, I promise you, I will just try. The truth is, the great outdoor soothes my soul. The truth is, better days remotivate me. The truth is, I'm in control. The truth is, nothing is impossible. The truth is, I like that insight. The truth is, I am human. And the truth is, I am you. So that's my little contribution to the mental health. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the First Fortnight for the association. I want to thank Paul Casey for all the wonderful work he does and keeping this night going, and has done for so many years. I'm going to ask you all to give yourselves a round of applause for being here and contributing. It's the first thing. And then I'm going to ask Paul to unmute everybody while we give a massive round of applause to our two wonderful guests, Mr. and Mrs. Colin Dardis stroke Geraldine O'Kane. Thank you both for for your wonderful contributions tonight, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been brilliant.
One of these days, I'll get up to you guys. One of these days. It won't be.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have you up.
All right, cool. So that's it. That's the end of the night. Again, thanks to everybody for being here and contributing. What happens now in the real world when we're in the Ovale and we're physically there, we abandon that facility and we take a very short walk around the corner to Maine's Bar and we have a chat and a few drinks. And because we can't do that physically, we are now going to finish the night on line. Paul's going to end the live stream and we're going to have a virtual Maine's gathering right here on Zoom. So that's it. Thank you so much. Let's have a chat.
How you doing, guys? How's it going?